Today is May 25th. We at Bobana Pellet want to show you a cultivation system for plants of various types, from vegetables to plants to flowers. What do? We take a pellet. We made an organic pellet, but not only organic, but especially using recycled materials that need to be disposed of from agricultural processing. We have seen that using pressed pellet, if we show the hardness of our pellet, very hard and very compressed. This pellet should be put in water. The pellet is left in water and especially left to settle. You see, there are still some pellet parts. The pellet is so hard that it doesn't even dissolve in water. What do? You add tap water and then water the plants. We tried for about 3 weeks. You go get any. Plant from nurseries, and we always watered it with pellet water. You see, these are tomatoes. Round ones of the round variety, and you can see that with very little soil the plant can sprout and bear fruit. We now want to reach the point where the plant can handle that little soil, because we have to consider that in this container there are many roots. And the roots tend to lift the soil because they are growing. What is the advantage of these processes? First of all, very little water is used, little soil, and therefore lands, maybe with difficulties, rocky, etc., can be cultivated with the pellet. This is a demonstration. This plant was also exposed to very low temperatures. At night it goes from 3 to 9 degrees here, so they also have thermal shock. It's watered with room temperature water, so sometimes it's very cold, but the plant reacts well. This is growth after about 18 to 20 days, but in cold temperatures and with little sun. Let's look at this other seedling, which we'll show in a few weeks. It also started that irrigation process. We see here the shape of the pellet that came out, and also these seedlings. I numbered them to see the growth. Then we have another plant where we have watered 3 times. It's an already grown plant, watered in this position. Let's see the growth. We watered it 3 times, and on this side that hasn't been watered, it has no growth or very little at the top, but none at the bottom. Let's take a closer look, you see. The growth only occurred in the part that was watered. Then we have another already grown plant, watered, orchid-like, and it has made quite large flowers in size. These have been for a month now. We watered them 3 times and then didn't touch them anymore, and they have a good presence. What is this for? It serves to demonstrate that you can grow plants with very little soil. The important thing is the nutrient, which can also vary based on the quantity you use. Good morning. It's June 2nd, after a week. Let's see the plant that was blooming last week. We see it has made some improvements, increased in flowers, but we're starting to see some plant stress with the leaves that are no longer beautifully green, but there are some traces of yellow. Let's see another thing. There's a little white spider here, dead, an ant, plus other insects, gnats that have been trapped in the plant hairs. And then obviously they probably release some toxin or something, and the insects die, There are various types of all kinds. I've numbered these better this way because before the numbers weren't visible, this is a round tomato. Anyway, the volume of the foliage has increased. The stem is It's quite good though. But here's another gnat that got trapped by the hairs and can't break free anymore. Let's see the other plant that last week. Wasn't blooming yet and is starting to flower. Let's see the flower. This one too. These fairly modest flowers. This one too shows some small signs of stress, twigs that tend to droop, but it's still producing volume. Let's see, this is our water, always the same one, topped up every time we use it. Basically, we've done almost 30 rinses of about a liter each, and the substance is quite oily. You see, the pellet in contact with oxygen takes action. You can top it up about 50 times, sometimes even 100. Water that creates reactions with oxygen, which means the pellet still has nutritional charge. This is water. There's nothing else but organic waste product. And this could one day benefit everyone. This height reaches about 60 centimeters. Then there's a weight decline. The evolution is a bit unusual. Today is June 8th. After more or less 45 days, let's look at the plant. The plant has started putting out roots here because obviously it has no more space, so the roots tend to grow upward. The first step has been completed, and we've seen that you can grow plants, and this is the maximum level you could reach in a small pot. Today we're starting to transplant it into these pots. Here I've put some regular soil and coconut fiber. Coconut fiber that we found at a nursery, and that's how we'll transplant. Let's see what the roots look like. Cutting to see how the plant has evolved with this. Let's see what it looks like. Let's try not to damage the plant and see the roots. These are the roots that have developed. We can see now that there's no more room. The roots have taken up all the space. Let's take the plant. When we transplant it, look at the roots that have grown into the soil. We'll plant it here. This is number 1. We'll plant it here with number 1. What do we do? Let's put 3 pellets of those we mentioned. 1. The material is always all organic waste. This is dried material, dried in the sun. This is a leaf pellet. Finally, this is a fairly hard pellet, which always comes from agricultural waste. Then what will we do? We'll go get some regular soil. A hole, and we take regular garden soil to fill it. Let's put a bit more in there. A stone and so on, and we'll do this operation for all the others. We've reached the end of our experiment, and we can see our seedlings, these ones here that have all produced fruit, some sooner, some later. They've reached different sizes. Let's see here, this one with 2 tomatoes, 40 centimeters, or this one at 80 centimeters. It produced fruit a bit later. We didn't use any herbicides, no treatment of any kind. They got water, they were at low temperatures, minimums down to 6 degrees. But we managed to do an experiment, let's say. Let's look at this black tomato one here.
Vediamo.
There we go. It was quite easy. We only kept 2 of the initial 6 because it was quite easy. This is the seedling. We've placed it here, and now let's see this one. Let's try to section it and see how it is. This is our little plant, you see. It stands on its own, almost. Now let's try to open it and see the root. Now let's open it up to see what the plant's roots look like. Let's see here, this tomato fell off.
Eccolo qua.
Let's see the roots. Let's see how the plant developed. Here's the soil we had added. This is the root node. These are the roots. No, I don't know much about this. I don't know. Anyway, these are the roots, and this is the soil. And this is the plant. Now let's look at the tomato. Here it had a crack, and don't ask me why, because I really don't know about this stuff. Let's cut it and see how the tomato is. This is the tomato. Let's take another one. Let's take this double one here. Same thing. Let's cut. Let's see if we can see it. There we go. Let's see the roots. This is the double one, and this one too, with its roots. This is the seedling with the roots it had. I don't know if there are many, if they're good or bad, because I really don't know about this stuff. This finally, always using water with pellets, with 100 grams of pellets. We did all this work. Goodbye. These purple ones here, let's take one. Let's see what the inside looks like.